Welcome back once again, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to another spooky episode of Dick Rogers' Space Detective. I'm your host, Eleanor Barclay, and with me today is our engineer and co-host, Mike Nutley.
Howdy.
And special guest today is fellow N.E.R.D.S member, Daniel Castle.
Good morning, Northeast Radio Drama Society. We've got a fresh episode for you, hot off the presses, just in time for that time of year we call Halloween.
Yeah, this episode is unique, isn't it? In that it's actually a brand new episode.
That's right. When looking through the archives, we found out that we didn't have an episode that was appropriately themed for the spooky season. So we here at N.E.R.D.S decided we should put something together ourselves. We have the rights after all. There's nothing stopping us from continuing the legacy.
It's a bit out of the ordinary for a show like this, but last year we were hijacked by a fictional character, so it's not the strangest thing we've done.
Yeah, we try not to talk about that. What if he decides to show up again?
Who?
You know, rhymes with Manzus.
Oh, Zanzis.
Don't say that name!
Sounds like we've got a malicious mimetic entity on the loose.
What?
A malicious mimetic entity. Essentially a thing that technically doesn't exist, but is kept, quote-unquote, alive by people knowing about it. Kind of like Tulpa, or The Game.
Oh, I just lost the game.
And he broadcasts himself to all our listeners. Isn't that a problem?
Well, the FCC has safeguards in place to protect against things like this since the 1970s.
Yeah, but that was only ever applied to traditional broadcast radio and television. I don't think they ever caught up to the internet yet.
Guys, we are on the internet. That episode is still up. Anyone who listens to it could spread the
Malicious mimetic entity? MME for short.
whatever. So what should we do? Should we call someone? Who do we even call for something like this?
I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's not like we have Joe Rogan levels of listeners. Then we'd have reason to be concerned.
What if we only have one listener, but it's Joe Rogan? That would be super scary and a reason to be concerned.
Besides, if we called someone to report it, then there'd be at least one other person who knew about it.
And they might have to report it to a supervisor, and maybe there would have to be a committee to investigate it and try to stop the spread. There's no telling how much worse it could get just trying to get help to stop it.
Right, so best let it go and hope for the best.
But if we did decide to call someone, it'd be like the duo in today's episode.
That's right. See, fairly recently we found some success with a duo of blue-collar monster hunters and figured Halloween is the perfect time to flesh out our little duo and give them a bigger platform. Today's episode is actually also a sequel to an older episode that never got a proper follow-up. Eagle-eared listeners might be able to figure out which one in Dick Rogers Meets the VanHelsing Brothers.
Why are you both so calm about this?
Roll the episode, Mike.
Rolling.
Welcome back, listeners, to Dick Rogers' Space Detective. We rejoin our hero in the grip of mortal peril. Betrayed and left to take the fall for a grand heist, Dick Rogers is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Inside the vault of the Galaxia Sapphire, standing on a pressure plate which activates a sentry gun that would disintegrate him on the spot. With guards fast approaching, Dick has to make a plan or face certain doom. All that and much more in Dick Rogers Meets the VanHelsing Brothers.
Come on. Think, Dick, think.
Suddenly, Dick remembered something he had acquired just moments before he became embroiled in his current predicament. Dick reached inside his pocket and pulled out a shiny gold object, furiously rubbing until...
Come on.
From within the lamp, the mighty genie emerged.
So, now that you're in mortal peril, you suddenly want my help?
You want me to make wishes or not? Otherwise, you're back to lounging around in this vault for who knows how long.
Fine. What do you want? A miraculous escape?
Just move to the left.
What?
A little to the left. The light's in my eye, and I don't do my best wishing when I can't see.
Fine. There, better?
Perfect.
Dick then stepped off the pressure plate. The deadly security turret fired its disintegrating laser right where he was standing. Or he would have been had the genie not been asked to move slightly to the left.
Dick Rogers, how could you?
Sorry, but it was either you or me.
I'm literally magic. I could have teleported us both out of here.
Yeah, I don't mess with magic. Don't believe in it.
This isn't over, Dick Rogers.
And that's how I got out of there.
I think we lost the scene there. We rejoin Dick Rogers as he regales the gift chief of investigations with his harrowing tale.
What about the guards?
What?
The guards! How did you get past the guards?
Oh, yeah. I put my gift training to the test and...
You hid in the corner, didn't you?
Did you know that people tend not to look down? It's fascinatingly easy to exploit.
Dick, losing the Galaxia Sapphire is a bad look for the gift, especially considering one of our own was duped into helping the thief take it in the first place.
I'm sure we'll get it back.
I'm serious, Dick. If you don't start actually solving some cases soon, it'll be your badge. You hear me?
I got it.
Yeah, you will get it.
The chief slid a file across his desk.
This case has really been racking up some numbers. Murders. But you'll see there are some strange details.
These images are rather shocking, almost like...
The victims were literally scared to death. These are all locked room cases, too. Locked from the inside, Dick.
I know what a locked room case is.
Some days I wonder. The other wrinkle is they're all happening in the same apartment building. And the more cases fit this pattern, the more people are starting to suggest that they're being perpetrated by something supernatural.
Geez, Chief, don't tell me you believe those crackpots.
Dick, you just fed me a story that had a genie in it.
Did you believe it?
Get out of my office!
Dick wasted no time making his way to the scene of the most recent crime.
Well, I gotta get coffee first. This is gonna be a long one.
Dick wasted some time stopping at the local Space Bucks for a hot cup of joe.
Ooh, and maybe a bagel.
And a bagel.
Or maybe a donut instead. Getting chewed out by the chief always gets my sweet tooth acting
Dick
up.
wasted no time getting to the crime scene.
All right, I'm going.
Meanwhile,
VanHelsing Brothers, they spook you, we spook them. Yeah, we got an opening. We'll meet your guy at the scene. What's the address? Yeah, I know the place. We'll be there ASAP. Hey, Johnny, we got a case.
Finally! Been itching for something good since that malicious mimetic entity. Just let me feed the choopy capybara real quick.
Dick arrived at the scene of the crime, an apartment building. The victim's apartment was on the 14th floor, so Dick took the elevator.
This has gotta be the slowest elevator I've ever been in.
And while we wait for the elevator to slowly ascend the building, here's a word from our sponsors.
In this economy, who can make ends meet with only one job? Luckily for me, I am a gifted spirit medium, so I've been supplementing the income from my 9-to-5 job by hosting seances. But there's nothing more embarrassing than coming back to the office after my lunch hour seances with unsightly ectoplasm stains all down the front of my sensible office attire. Now, thanks to the new Ecto Clean, I can get rid of those stains before Joanne from accounting can report me for slovenly deportment again. The next time would be my third strike. Go get your Ecto Clean now and keep your Joanne from accounting from ruining your work-life balance.
Ecto Clean, Ecto Clean. The only thing you need for those pesky ectoplasm stains. We now rejoin Dick after an interminably long elevator ride. After a short search, he found an apartment door with official gift caution tape across it. As Dick entered, he saw the victim. Male, mid-30s, overall average in appearance. Skin was pale, unnaturally so. Face frozen in an expression of shock and terror. But the victim wasn't the only occupant of the apartment.
Jeez, take a look at this guy. Looks like he's seen a ghost.
Reckon he might've, judging from the expression.
So, what are we thinking? Traditional haunting? Poltergeist?
Maybe vengeful spirit. Might have been personal.
Excuse me, who are you? You can't be in here. This is a crime scene.
You must be the guy.
Dick was handed a business card.
VanHelsing Brothers Supernatural Extermination? You can't be serious.
Serious as the day is long, bucko.
I'm Johnny, and this is my brother Bobby. We may be identical twins, but I'm the handsome one.
Hey.
I don't have time for this. I didn't call you.
Well, your boss did. He told us to meet you here. So if you got a problem, you can take it up with your GIF chief.
We get paid by the hour, so go ahead. Call him. Take your time.
If he just told you to meet me, how did you beat me here?
We took the stairs. That old elevator takes forever.
Fine. What do you even do?
Our expertise is the supernatural. Ghosts, monsters, cryptids, the whole 9 yards.
It's the family business ever since our ancestor Abe Van Helsing staked the first Dracula.
Jeez, do you get paid by the line too?
No, and we ain't getting paid until this case is solved. So, whenever you're done barking at our credentials, we might as well get back to work.
Dick grumbled, but let the two supernatural exterminators continue their investigation.
All right, let's get a look at the victim. Yep, no pulse. Definitely dead.
Really? This is a murder case. Of course they're dead.
You be surprised. And that don't mean they ain't gonna get up and move around again. Cases of possession, zombies, or Draculas are not uncommon.
Don't you mean vampire?
Yeah, but they hate it when we call them Draculas. It's a good way to see if there's one in the room. They get real offended.
Say, you been in the sunlight lately, Dick?
Is that a mirror?
Just checking.
Okay, moving on to the point. What, in your expert opinion, is going on here?
Well, it's early to say, but I definitely think we have a case of a Class 4 haunting.
Class 4?
Because there's a dead guy involved. Once a haunting gets lethal, it gets elevated to Class 4.
2 bodies is a Class 5.
Right.
Here, hold these.
Dick was handed a pair of small metal rods that were bent at 90 degrees.
What are these?
Dowsing rods. They pick up the spiritual energy in the room. They point us to the most potent source.
Really? A couple of metal sticks? I figured you'd have something a little more high-tech than this.
Hey, don't fix what ain't broken. Besides, sometimes you gotta go analog in our line of work. Ghosts tend to mess with modern technology.
Just hold these lightly in your hands and let the rods do the work.
Dick rolled his eyes, but did as he was instructed. To his own surprise, the metal rods began twitching in his hands, turning as if guiding him somewhere.
Ooh, looks like we got a trail.
Dick was guided through the apartment, eventually coming to the bedroom, most notably, the doors of a large walk-in closet.
I see the rods crossed. That means we're right on the spot.
Bobby opened the doors to the closet. At a glance, it seemed normal, but the longer the trio looked into the doorway, the more unsettling it became. The fluorescent ceiling light could not penetrate the darkness radiating from that open doorway. If anything, it felt as if the inky black void could invade the rest of the room at any moment. Johnny produced a flashlight from his belt and turned it on, the beam of light barely penetrating the closet. It began to feel like the three men were looking into the open maw of a great beast, ready to swallow them.
Yeah, this is eating up any light around it. Whatever's lurking here made this place its home a long time ago. And I have a feeling our friend is still in there.
So, what do we do?
Well, we got this here, an ultraviolet light emitter. Crank this sucker up and it's like a miniature sun goes off in there. Technically, it's for Draculas, but sometimes it works for ghosts too.
Bobby took the cylindrical device and turned a knob on it before pressing a button, tossing it into the closet.
You might want to cover your eyes.
Dick quickly donned the goggles he usually wore when flying his ship in open space.
Ah! My eyes! The goggles do nothing!
Yeah, that's why we just turn around.
You could have told me that!
You'll be fine. The blindness should be temporary, I think.
You think? Oh, wait. I think my vision's coming back.
See? Told you.
So let's take a look at what we got here.
Dick was speechless as he regained his vision. Trapped by the UV light was the ghastly humanoid form of a person who had once belonged to the world of the living.
So, what do we do with it?
Well, you're the detective. I'm pretty sure this is the part where you interrogate your suspect.
All right. Hello there, Mr. Ghost. Do you have a name I can call you?
Being dead is real disorientating. You might not get a straight answer out of him. Gotta try to get him to focus on something.
All right, Ghost, what's the last thing you remember?
It came through the walls.
What was it? What came through the walls?
Unfortunately, the specter had nothing else to share. After answering Dick's question, it faded from view.
Yeah, you gotta be real specific with ghosts. They're kind of skittish like that.
So what do we do now?
Well, this ain't a capture job, so that ghost is none of our business. So long as it don't bother nobody, then we ain't worried about it.
And if it does?
Then we got ourselves another job to do. And we get to charge for another house call, don't we?
Right. So we just have to figure out what came through the walls then.
That's right. Which sounds like a monumental task in and of itself, but we got a few ways to narrow it down.
Probably wasn't another ghost. We would have detected multiple ectoplasmic sources, which we did not. So it probably wasn't anything of the dead variety.
No traces of sulfur, no smell of brimstone, wasn't a demon either.
Well, that's good, right?
Yeah, we're fresh out of holy water.
So what's left?
A couple of things. Elemental spirits, astral projections, jinn.
What's a djinn?
You call them genies. You know, lamp, grants wishes, which is not accurate for all of them, but you know.
Why would a genie want to do something like this?
Oh, they got tempers. Get on one's bad side and it'll make it its personal mission to make you suffer.
Well, we should probably see if there's anyone else we can question.
Talk to the building super yet?
The Giffies probably did that after the body was found, but it couldn't hurt to go over it again.
The trio made their way to the sub-basement, and Dick insisted on going by elevator, which means we've got plenty of time for another commercial. Hi, I'm Joan London. Being a journalist living and reporting in the dystopian nightmare that is the zombie apocalypse is a struggle enough, but nothing could prepare me for the stress and worry of trying to find a community for my undead mother when I realized her shuffling had slowed significantly and she lost her appetite for brains. But now, there's a place for my undead mom, the nation's largest referral service for elderly zombies. The best part? It's free. With one call, you can talk with experienced providers who will confidently discuss your undead family member's needs. Whether your zombie mom needs a safe place to shuffle or help with preparing brains for mealtime, you'll receive information you need to make the right choice. Your personal advocate will help you navigate through this turbulent time, while also helping you ensure that you are able to protect yourself against your loved one who now has no memories of you and is driven by an endless need to eat brains. Call A Place for My Undead Mom and feel the weight of the world lift off your shoulders, giving you time to focus on you and your survival as you fend off the other living dead and packs of roving, thieving humans fighting for the few remaining resources. We'll mercifully skip the rest of the elevator ride and join our heroes again in the sub-basement office of Herschel Cookson, building superintendent as well as owner.
Look, I already talked to the cops. You can get my statement from them.
Yeah, I read it in the elevator on the way down here. A couple times, in fact. You got this position a few months ago?
Yeah.
Around the same time these mysterious deaths started happening in that one apartment?
What can I say? The building's haunted. I told them about it before they signed the lease. It's even in the contract.
Herschel gave Dick a copy of the lease agreement to read over.
Say, have we met before?
What? No. Why? What are you doing here anyway? You're not cops.
We're independent contractors.
We specialize in the spooky, but my brother's right. I feel like I seen you somewhere before. You ever been to Sheboygan?
I see here that the security deposit for this apartment is quite high.
Well, yeah, with that apartment being so dangerous, a high security deposit makes sense.
And if they happen to break this lease agreement, things like moving out early or dying means you get to keep their hefty deposit.
I know why this guy looks familiar. He looks just like Timmy.
Which one?
The first one. Remember what happened to him?
I remember. He was sucked into a dimensional wormhole. A wormhole created by one of your contraptions during a hunt. He was dumped on the other side, aged years. And from there, he plotted revenge.
Yeah, that is what happened. How do you know that?
Because that was me. I was Timmy, idiots. And I wasn't even in my name. It was Tommy, but you couldn't even get that right.
Dick, isn't this the part where you arrest this guy?
It's poor etiquette to interrupt a villain monologue.
I plotted my revenge, but I just recently got my chance when I came across this.
From his desk, he pulled an object, a lamp.
Hey, is that a genie lamp?
Almighty Genie, my final wish. I wish for you to kill the Van Helsings, and you might as well kill Dick Rogers too, so he can't testify.
From the lamp rose the form of a genie.
Your wish is granted. We'll both have our revenge.
Dick drew his blaster as Herschel made a break for it.
That pea shooter ain't gonna do much against a supernatural entity. You're better off chasing a perp. Don't worry about this big guy. We can take him.
Dick took Johnny's advice, tearing through the door after Herschel, who had quite a lead. Dick was worried the perp would escape until he saw him climb into the elevator and slam the cage door closed behind him.
You'll never catch me, you flatfoot!
Oh, yeah?
As the elevator began to rise towards the ground floor, Dick casually strolled up the stairs. A few minutes later, the cage door of the elevator slammed open and Herschel was surprised to find Dick Rogers there, blaster level.
Freeze.
Herschel did indeed freeze, raising his hands.
Don't you get it? These two imbeciles are more dangerous than the things they hunt. They're careless, stupid,
They aren't the ones who've been luring innocent renters to their death at the hands of a depraved genie. How many people had to die for your grudge? Also, how did you end up getting that magic lamp? It was in a vault on Cortez Comet. That's dozens of parsecs from here.
Well, you see, the accident that sucked me into that wormhole left me with some unexplained magical...
But Herschel was interrupted by a massive explosion that shook the whole building, knocking him and Dick to the ground.
They're dead! Ha ha! Finally! It doesn't matter what happens to me now. My revenge is complete, and soon the genie will be coming for you, Dick Rogers.
Just then, two dusty, soot-covered figures stepped out of the smoky stairwell.
We came.
We saw.
We caused thousands of dollars of property damage.
What? How?
Come on, you really think something like a genie could take us? We're a bit tougher than that.
I mean, everyone knows lamp genies are lightweights.
The ones you really gotta worry about are ring genies.
Sirens filled the air as JIF units approached the scene.
Looks like your little revenge plan has failed. You want I should read you your rights now?
This ain't over. This ain't over, Dick Rogers.
Yeah, that's what the genie said.
And as the Giffies arrested Herschel and hauled him off, so ends another adventure of Dick Rogers, Space Detective. Where there's danger, where there's excitement, where there's mystery, Dick Rogers will be there.
But I don't do magic.
But, dear listeners, our last sponsor tonight does do magic. So here's one last ad.
Hey there, besties! It's your close personal friend, Skeevy Mike! And have I got an opportunity for you? You know how they're making a second Beetlejuice movie? Do you remember when a fine voodoo practitioner used magic powder to shrink Beetlejuice's head at the end? Spoiler alert! Once that movie comes out and Michael Keaton's head is tiny all throughout, it's sure to be the next big trend. Well, I've managed to whip up a batch of head shrinking powder that really works, and I'm willing to cut you in on this huge money-making opportunity. It's just $999.99 for the sales kit and product, but if you get 4 people to sign up under you, I'll refund your initial investment, and from there on, it's all profit. Join the Skeevy Mike sales team today. Get the sexy shrunken head all your friends will be dying to have, and start your road to financial freedom. Just grab the cash and pull into the alley behind the hardware store. It's under the bridge. I'll be there with the biggest opportunity of your life.
That was actually pretty good for something we wrote ourselves.
Speaking of someone who would love to Vini Vidi Vici, the plot was so engrossing I totally forgot about our Zanzas problem.
Yeah, me too. You said the name. You're really asking for another manifestation. I can't believe you'd tempt fate like that.
Eleanor, wait. There's no way he'd break in at the end of an episode like that. He's way too much of an attention hog for that.
You're right, Mike. If he was going to hijack things, he would have done it at the beginning.
It's been a whole year. If he had the required amount of power, I'm sure we'd have heard from Zanzas before now.
And we did destroy that circle of power we found chalked on the floor after the takeover from last year. I'm sure.
At last, after 10,000 years, I'm free. No, sorry, it was just me. I figured out I can do the voice, and I thought it'd be a fun prank.
Out, Daniel. I need you out of this room, away from the microphones, until my heart rate is out of the red zone.
I'm sorry, guys. It was a bad idea. I'm sorry.
Okay. I can hear myself again over the sound of my blood rushing through my veins. Anyway, thank you again for joining us this month for a special spooky episode of Dick Rogers Space Detective.
We're on Facebook at Dick Rogers Pod, on Instagram at Dick Rogers Space Detective, and Twitter at Rogers Space. And you can join the nerds on Patreon at patreon.com/space_detective.
And make sure to join us for your next Dick appointment. Same space time, same space place.
Good night, everybody!
This episode's nerds are Angela Ventris as Eleanor Barclay, narrator, and Joan London. Michael Storm as Mike Nutley, the Genie, the Ghost, Herschel, and Ski Mike. Logan Wright as Daniel Castle and Johnny Van Helsing. Brittany Stone as Dick Rogers and Millie. And Nicholas Johnson as Jiff Chief and Bobby Van Helsing. Dick Rogers Meets the VanHelsing Brothers was written by Logan Wright, Nicholas Johnson, and Angela Ventris. Music by Nicholas Johnson, sound design by Michael Storm, and audio editing by Nicholas Johnson.